Hi, Charlotte. So thanks for taking part in the testimonial video for the coach training course, which you've been doing and are nearly finished, aren't you?
All finished now. Yeah.
Finished it now. Tell me about you and your work with young people.
Okay. So, a little bit about my background. So, I started my career working in youth justice, so supporting young people and their families. And then I moved on to working as a school family worker. And then I trained as a yoga and mindfulness practitioner for children. And then I specialised in that for autism and ADHD. And then my career's progressed to working as a mentor and coach within schools and community settings, specifically with neurodivergent children and young people.
Brilliant. So very specific integration of different skills and backgrounds.
Yeah, absolutely.
What what brought you to this course and what made you decide to do it?
So I had already started working in schools, mentoring, and then sort of tapping into some of those coaching skills as well with young people. And I've got qualifications working with young people in youth justice, also the mindfulness practice, and I think I just Googled coaching courses for young people, and I was really drawn. I don't know, I was drawn to your course particularly. I liked all the videos on YouTube. Very interested in positive psychology personally, and I was really interested to see how I could sort of integrate that into the work that I was doing. And so I think I just wanted to, don't know, take some time really to learn some more coaching skills, meet some other people from different sectors as well, and discuss how they were using coaching skills, and just having, be yourself really to sort of bounce ideas off. As I was, getting more into coaching. It's also starting to run more like group work as well, which isn't something I'd really done before. I'd mostly worked like one to one, apart from the yoga and mindfulness, of course. So, yeah, that's what drew me to it really. Perhaps more like the theory behind it and the sort of structure of sessions.
Yeah, especially with you coming from mindfulness, which is
Yeah,
a psychology approach, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely. It's really interesting, and I think no, I don't think I know I'd already started implementing those factors like into the sessions, but I wanted to learn more about it.
And how did you even know coaching was a thing? Because I think one of the problems is
Mm,
people don't know what coaching is and how it can help young people. So
yeah.
how did you know that?
Totally agree. So I'd actually met an adult ADHD coach myself and found that that was really really useful. And I really then started looking into coaching. And just as a neurodivergent person myself, I found that that particular like coaching helped me in the way that my brain works. And so I wanted to sort of dig a little bit deeper into that. And again, probably recognize that I was already using some of those skills in the sessions.
Yeah, like they just come naturally to you in your way of being.
Yeah, and I think like I'd also like wanted to kind of really understand the difference between mentoring and coaching. And I've learned a lot about that and how they can be kind of interchangeable sometimes. But as a practitioner, being aware when I'm mentoring and when I'm coaching, what the difference is.
What changes have you made then to your practice since you've done the coach training course?
I think that we discussed during like when I was writing up my sessions for the qualification is that because of previous roles I've done of say assessing like risk and things like that, it's very much in my role of like my mind and practice of analyzing, possibly over analyzing, and then trying to like problem solve. And I really am starting to let go of that now and just meet the young person and just see where it takes us, still with a structure, especially if we're goal setting, but it's looking at maybe the outcomes are different to where we started. So I don't know if it is, for example, that school are worried about attendance. Maybe the attendance doesn't increase that much, but the young person again feels safe in school. Their self-esteem, they're able to reflect on strengths. These are all amazing outcomes for that young person. And I feel like I've just relaxed into that a bit more. And I can really see how young people are meeting goals that we hadn't even considered when we first looked at the referral.
Like the solution focused approach that we use is look for what's working and do more of it rather than focus on all the problems and all the issues. It's like, well, okay, well on this one day they come on a Tuesday and what's going on Tuesday that they like.
So that's definitely been really, yeah, important. Also, young people being able to reflect their strengths just brings me joy. But
Give me an example of that. Have you got one off the top of your head that you can think of? Because it's lovely.
yeah, I think it's just saying, saying that they're like proud of themselves. I think one young person said that they were proud of themselves for like coming in to school and going to a lesson they found, but to have that language when
I am proud of myself. Yeah.
I mean, wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Because we're proud of them every day, aren't we? But to be proud of yourself and to think, actually, I have worked really hard. Yeah, so like after exams and things like that, if there's been a lot of anxiety. So that actually, I'm just thinking in the summer, I did some coaching around exams, and it's just finding out more detail for that young person,
Yeah.
going through it and sort of just picking it apart, like what would the worry be and how we can support and things like that. So coaching to the lead up and then that young person feeling proud of themselves afterwards.
Like, are there any particular tools or strategies that you think are particularly useful for neurodivergent young people?
I really like the strengths questionnaire. But you
Yeah.
people want to use that as a tool, but maybe it's a bit long for sort of attention levels and things like that. You can actually save it and do it in increments. I really like that because it's kind of something physical. Do you know? Like,
Yeah, and I remember using it with a young lad who was actually diagnosed with autism and an ADHD. He was school avoider. He hadn't been to school for 2, 3 years, something like that. And I was coaching him into accessing anything, like coming out of his bedroom. In the end, he accessed CAMS. He got a diagnosis. He ended up in FE college, and we did the strength survey. And because he
yeah,
was a gamer and he loved computers and stuff like that, he's like, well, it's because the computer tells me that these are my strengths.
great.
Must be true.
That's really important that you said that as well. And so I also work in a centre, like a wellbeing life skills centre. So we do different activities, and we'll do summaries on activities the young people have done. And I really enjoy thinking about individual activities and the strengths that young people display when they're taking part and the skills that they've developed from it. So just take something like gaming
Yes.
and using those, I don't know, analytical skills, problem solving skills, physical skills as well. Like that's really interesting. But yeah, that's great. So it's a physical, and I really liked it when we did it on the course, the strengths. And actually, you're looking at how do you describe it? It's like your most used strengths and your lesser used. So it's not
Yeah.
a bit. That's not what we're saying. Actually, I did something with that with a young person. It's like, it's just, and we were, I did mine as well, and we were quite similar in a way. And it's like, that's okay. And they're like, I wouldn't have thought that about you. I'm like, it's not saying that I don't have that strength. I'm just not using it as much. Does that make sense? I don't
Yes.
know in the right way, but I just love
Yeah, so the signature strengths are the ones at the top, and then we have our lesser strengths
it.
at the bottom, and then
Yeah,
we use them all in different combinations and constellations depending on the circumstance.
yeah.
But
So it was like maybe teamwork was harder, but there's there's a humour there, and how can you use that in that group? That's your strength. You can keep people going. Yes.
and that's going to really, because something like having a strength of humor, we quite often talk about that, especially for young people with ADHD, as a defense mechanism or being the class clown or to get them out of the lesson. That actually, how can you see that as a strength and actually that it's not a bad thing to have that, but you just may be overusing it in that situation.
I'm really interested, and I have spoken to sort of things about using strengths and being able to identify them in the young people in the class. Yeah, so the example you've just used about humour or reflect it back, like, oh, thank you. That's, I don't know, there's something around honesty as well and things like that. When you look at those kind of that sense of justice, and these are all strengths. Really, I'm trying to think of all the tools that I've used. I really like the Wheel of Life. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That's great. I've had outcomes with that I hadn't expected. So we've done things like put it into different sections and then further made tiny slices in each one. So I don't know, communication is one that I can think of that I did with a young person. And then actually communication at home was quite strong, but school was really low. And communication in the sessions was strong. So it was like, how can we support? You've got that here? How can we support it in school?
Mm.
And
And it's showing the young person that they do have the strength, they do have the skills and strengths within themselves to communicate. So what's
yeah,
going differently in that context?
yeah,
You learn from the fact you can do it at home and you can do it with me, and learn from that and apply it to that situation.
yeah, that's really, really useful. And that's, I guess that's actually a lot of what comes up in the sessions, really. It's like reflecting of where you've used those skills before, or where have you felt safe, or where have you felt happy, or what does that feel like? And that's an important part of the work I would do as well, like trying to learn to recognize what that actually feels like so that you know.
What have you noticed then has changed for the young people that you've been coaching or working with because of the process of coaching?
Yeah, I think what I also really in every coaching session is I'm very aware of, you know, those positive psychology skills in terms of like identifying strengths. And that's something that I've read up a lot on as well outside of the course, and, you know, doing the strengths-based questionnaires and just having those in mind and kind of helping the young people reflect on things they're doing that are showing their personal strengths
Mm-hmm.
around self-esteem and self-talk. So I'd say that I can see positive changes in time where they feel maybe more comfortable to talk about personal strengths, or also able to identify personal strengths.
For you personally, like, or in your work integrating coaching, because the coach training course isn't specifically for special educational needs, is it? So
No,
was that like a reservation, or what, is there any adaptations that you've had to make it accessible for your young people?
no. I suppose adaptations in just for the individual, which comes from me as a practitioner. So in terms of, I might use different tools. Some young people are more visual. I've got this in one of the schools I went. There's a great big whiteboard. We use a pen and we draw things, and it's more interactive. Or we'll walk and coach, we'll walk around the school, and, you know, for sensory breaks and things. So no, only making the individual sessions accessible and meeting the young person where they are and meeting their needs. But I find that the tools themselves are easy to adapt in that way. I
Mm.
love the visuals. I've said this to you before. I found the course really easy to follow in a way that I haven't probably with other courses. It kept my attention. It's interactive. You've got a short video, and then you do your reflection, don't you? And that works really well for me. And actually, you can follow it. I know some people like to follow things a certain way, but for me, I kind of dipped in here and there, and something caught my interest a little bit more. I've then bought books, for example, to read it more about, especially around like the positive psychology theory and things like that. Um, no, I really enjoyed it, and the actual course I did it the intense, so it was a week, wasn't it? That was perfect for me.
2 weeks, the summer one you did.
Yeah, I did the summer one. It's perfect for me because it's all fresh in my mind, and it's lots of you use the practical skills straight away, don't you? And also, I really enjoyed getting to know other trainee coaches, and that's been really, really useful as well, just seeing all the different settings and how people are using the skills. um
And I actually think talking to you makes me realize there's less difference actually, because coaching's about working with an individual on an individual basis. So in a way, it doesn't really matter if they're neurodivergent,
no,
because this the framework for coaching kind of you're listening and asking. So
yeah,
it's whoever whatever they say, whoever they are.
yeah, absolutely,
Mm,
absolutely.
I like that. What would you advise to anyone interested in the coach training course?
Do
From
it.
do it.
No, I say, you know, realistic. I've worked in lots of different settings, and so I've done like family support work. I've worked with parents. I've worked with primary school, secondary school. I've worked in youth justice. I've worked in the community. Like, it's, I would say, what's really important. Like, if you're like obviously from like a career point of view, I can use this in the work I'm doing now, but equally I can use it in other settings too. And I could have used it in any of. I wish I'd done it earlier, is the thing, but that wasn't. I was, yeah.
Wasn't a thing before.
I knew what coaching was.
Yeah, I think, and what's interesting is I get a lot of people approach me or want to do it who have done a lot of similar roles to you, and they've done a lot of professional development workshops and courses and inset days and things, but they've not got an actual qualification or certification or thing around it. How did you fit? Did you find that as well?
Yeah, I think that I just to do doing the course, I can see how it's led me up to this, and I've maybe been using those skills already. But yeah, I just wanted something to kind of, and for me as well, like doing things the right way and making sure I'm learning everything I can. And I guess it's just, doing the best I can. It was, yeah, it stood out as the right course for me, but equally I could have used it in any other roles, I think. So it's very transferable.
Mhm.
So I think what's really important as a practitioner, so I've been in roles before where I haven't had supervision. I do now in role I do now, and I've had supervision during this course. Like it's so important actually. So that's probably something that's really come out from a personal level of taking time for yourself, reflecting on anything that's coming up from sessions. And that I would say it's really supportive. Obviously, you've got the supervision, but equally, like I know I've sort of emailed you a few times here and there, just asking for additional clarification and things like that. That's why I'd recommend the course.
Mm.
Do, and I've done courses before, and it's just you and you do the theory and you hand it in, but no one's talking to you about, well, how did you feel about that, and what's that brought up for you, and how are you, you're very good at reflecting, say how are you actually going to use that tool, or how, oh hang on a minute, look where you've done that, perhaps you're going into this, and
Yeah. So it's the reflective practice and it's the coaching process in the coach training. You're getting coached, aren't you, as well, to use it?
you can't be a coach without that. You
Yeah,
can't. I mean, I
I
suppose you
would agree.
wouldn't recommend it.
I mean, there are online coaching courses where you don't do any practicing. You just,
I
and
just
I don't know how you can teach coaching without that.
But like if I think about a year ago, like where I just finished, I'd just done the summer course and started on the actual, the logs and things. So at the beginning of like last year summer to now, as a practitioner, I think I'm quite different.
What's different for you then?
In a positive way, I understand coaching more, and I feel more confident talking about it and the benefits to schools. I can see where I'm coaching or where I'm mentoring and what the benefits are. um, I guess noticing when young people are reaching their own personal goals and being able to reflect that back on them rather than being kind of burdened with some big outcome.
So, what's your plans for taking coaching forward in your work?
Working on a little project around kind of combining some of my skills of self-care for neurodivergent young people, and coaching to access that. That's the kind of thing.
I know I can see your confidence has grown massively and your sort of understanding and championing like of the approach has like got this silent strength to it and it makes me really proud. And
No, thank you for your support all the way through. No, it's been brilliant.
I just want you to just carry on helping more and more young people because they certainly need it.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to sign off now and thanks for your help.
Thank you.